Hello and welcome on today's video. In this tutorial, we will show you how to use View Range in Revit. So let's get started. Revit View Range is a tool in Revit that allows you to specify the height and depth of the visible portion of a view, as well as how objects beyond that range are displayed. To open View Range settings, select the floor plan and click on View Range button on Properties panel. Remember that View Range can be also set up on View templates. The view range settings are defined by three horizontal planes: the top plane, the cut plane, and the bottom plane. There is also additional property called view depth. In this dialog box, you can set height of each plane. Here is the explanation. Cut plane and bottom are the main planes to define visible scope. The cut plane determines the depth range of the view and controls which objects are displayed as cut or sectioned. Objects that intersect with the cut plane are displayed as sectioned or cut in the view. If object is higher than the cut plane, it will not be visible. If the object appears between cut plane and bottom but not intersect with cut plane, it displays as a thin line object without sectioning. Objects that are below the bottom plane are not visible in the view. View depth gives the additional range below the bottom plane. Objects that appear below the bottom plane but still in view depth zone are visible. Furthermore, you can adjust line styles for objects that are below the bottom plane. Go to Manage tab, Additional Settings, Line Styles. Then change the Beyond Line Styles. Top plane defines the range where only specific object categories can be displayed, for example, generic models. Ceiling plans. View range for ceiling plans in Revit works similarly to floor plans, but with a few key differences. In a ceiling plan view, point of view is directed up onto the ceiling from below, so the view depth is above the top plane. To open Ceiling View Range settings, select the ceiling plan and click on View Range button on Properties panel. However, since the focus of the view is on the ceiling, we can only see needed equipment or lighting fixtures on the ceiling. And by changing visibility properties, for example, ceiling transparency, can see all what is going above the ceiling if needed. Plan region. Revit offers features for setting up a specific view range for particular areas on plan views. In fact, setting up a plan region is often necessary to accurately display the elements of a specific area or section of a project. To set up a specific view range for separate areas, go to View tab, Plan Views, and select Plan Region. Draw the boundary and set up View Range on Properties tab. Depth clipping. Depth clipping is a feature in Revit that allows you to control the display of objects beyond a certain distance from the viewer on a view. With depth clipping, you can selectively hide or display objects in a view based on their distance from the viewer, providing a more focused and streamlined display of the objects. There are three different options for displaying the clip plane: No clip, clip without line, and clip with line. No clip shows entire object. Clip without line shows only visible object part according to view range and interrupts it where it is no longer visible. Clip with line shows only visible object part according to view range and interrupts it where it is no longer visible and defines edges of the visible part. That's it. Subscribe to our channel to keep learning new things with new vision. Thanks for watching.